Hello everyone and welcome back to the Crafty Yellow Camper. And today I thought we would make a man's card. Men's cards are always the ones that people struggle with. And we currently have a, well maybe you don't, I do. We currently have a stamp set called Handsomely Suited, which has a set of dies that go with it called suit and tie dies. They can be found on page 166 of the new annual catalogue. I haven't actually bought the stamp set. I bought the dies, but I haven't got the stamp set yet because I thought that would be the best order for me to buy them in. Just going to quickly show you. These are the dies here, and we're going to use those to make a card. So I've gone ahead and I've done the cutting out because that way you don't have to listen to me wind in my big shop. So I'm going to talk you through what we are going to use. Basically, I have got a standard C6 card base, which is half of an A4 sheet of cardstock, and I've got that in smoky slate. So that is cut at 14.8 centimetres, and I fold, but if you wanted to score at 10.5 centimetres. Okay, and that gives us a standard UK C6 card base. Okay, then what I've done is I've cut a front exactly the same size as the card, so that is cut at 10.5 by 14.8, and I have cut that in Misty Moonlight, and I've used the V-shaped die that comes in the set to cut out this V from the front of the card. I'll just bring these back in to show you again. Where are they? There. So this is the V die here. And then what I've done is I've run it through my embossing folder. Now I've used a retired folder. I've used the subtle embossing folder, but there is, I haven't got it yet, there is a Tasteful Textures, I think it's called, embossing folder, which will give a fabric effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some glue to the back of my embossed piece, and this is going to make our jacket, if you like. So I'm just adding glue round the edges of that piece. I think my glue is about to run out. Okay, just put it on there. Okay, you can use whatever medium you find best to adhere the front to the card, but I find the Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue gives me a little bit of wiggle room, and it's really good adhesive to use on something that's been embossed. Okay, so I'm just turning the card over excuse me, to make sure that lines up on the front of the card, and it gives you a little bit of room where you can lift it up. And because we've got the crease of the fold, I'm just moving that over a little bit. What you don't want is a bump here, so make sure that this part here is flat because we've got to add in the lapels on here. So with one of the other dies, I've cut the lapels, and they are out of Misty Moonlight again, but I haven't embossed those. I just wanted the texture to be on the actual jacket front, if you like, but you could emboss it if you chose to. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is fit these in. Now, you need to make sure that the point covers up the bottom of that V. And I've got glue on my cardstock, so try and avoid doing that. They went down in the wrong place. If you do use Tombow multi-purpose glue and you get a little bit on, leave it to dry. And once it's dry, you can get it off with a glue rubber. Unfortunately, we don't sell these anymore, but that's what it looks like. And you can still buy them, but leave it to dry. Don't try and get it off until it's dry. Okay, so that's our lapels attached. And then we've got this dinky little collar, sort of shirt collar piece, which we are going to put in here. Okay, that will actually cover up a little bit of that glue splodge. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that in here. They are a little bit fiddly because there's not much holding them together, as you can probably see. It's just that little section in the middle. I'm just going to level that up with the top of the card. Get that bit level as much as possible. Okay, shirt's a little bit on the wonk. Let's just pull that off carefully again and move that over. So it does take a little bit of making sure you've got it in the right place, but once it's done, there we go, we want that to be in the middle. Okay, so that is that part there. And then we have got a tie. Now I'm going to this is going to be my dad's Father's Day card. My dad always likes to wear a shirt and tie. He's of that era. There is a stitched, very long rectangle in the dies. I would show you in the actual dies, but I've been tidy and put them away. Here, there is this very long rectangle which is stitched on both sides. So you could use that to die cut a stitched effect down there. But because I'm going to add a tie, and I'm using some of the papers that go with this stamp set, they're all double-sided and they're all really brilliant for men's cards, but actually there are one or two that you could equally use for a lady's card. So I'm going to go with that stripy effect because that's the kind of tie that my dad would have worn. And I'm just going to pop that on there like that. Now I know I'm going over the end of the lapels on the jacket, and a gentleman would tuck his tie in, but that's just how I wanted to do it. Right, now I'm missing a tiny little piece. Oh, I'm just going to shake my envelope out that I've prepared everything in. If you didn't want to put the tie on, there is a die in this set that cuts 6 tiny little buttons with one pass of the die. So I'm just going to lift those up. Hopefully you can see those. Cut 6 of those with one pass. Now obviously my card has got a tie on it, so we're not going to use the buttons today. But I wanted you to see that if you didn't want to put the tie on, you could just put the stitched seam and then a line of the buttons. So I'm just going to pop those back in there for now. And then there is this dinky little rectangle, which is stitched all the way around, which is for a pocket top, like that. Now, actually, to be fair, my dad did always used to wear a tie for work, but he prefers to wear a cravat. But there wasn't a die for a cravat, okay? And I've just realised that the edge of the tie should be under the collar, but that's stuck down. So I'm sure he'll put me right when I give it to him. But there we go. Okay, so what I've done, I've got a scrap of paper. So you can see it's the stripes, the blue and grey stripes on one side, and this sort of like pinstriped pattern on the back. So I just need to make a little handkerchief to go in his pocket, and all I'm doing, sorry, I've just realized my hands are off camera, I've just cut some little triangles off that piece, and what we're going to do, I'm going to have to trim them down a bit, so I'm just putting this on here just to see where I think I might want it. Okay, that is a very pointy handkerchief there, isn't it? So I think we might just take that off at slightly less of an angle, like that. Okay. I'm just going to see if we can get away with doubling up the hanky, but obviously it needs to fit behind this bar. Yeah, I think we can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the handkerchief pieces off, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the backs. Oh, well, if it will come out. Why is it that your glue always decides to run out as soon as you start filming? Okay, a little bit of glue on the backs there. And we're going to put our pocket square in, as my dad always calls it. It's not a handkerchief, it's a pocket square, Julia, he always says. Oh, I've lost that one now. We've lost most of the glue off the back of it as well. Okay, we're just gonna pick that up to try and get that level with the other one. Those patterns are playing havoc with my eyes. Okay, and then we're just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of this stitched rectangle. The thing I like about these cards is you can die cut them in bulk, and then just put them together quite quickly. Okay, so okay, and then we're going to put our pocket edge over the top of those papers and just make sure that you've covered the bottoms of the papers with the pocket edge. I just need to move that away a little tiny bit from the lapel. There we go. Okay, there. And then inside I've just got a panel of Whisper White, or Basic White as it's called now, and that is cut at 14.3 by 10, just to fit in there with a little tiny bit of border, and I'll stamp a greeting on that and then stick that in before I give it to my dad. Okay, so that's a very quick suit and tie card, suitable for a man. We've got Father's Day coming up. My dad, as I said, is old school, so that is his Father's Day card. Okay, hopefully you found that easy to follow, and if you'd like to order any of the products I've used in the video, please feel welcome to contact me and I can sort that out for you. Okay, so I'll be back soon with another version of that man's card, still using the suit and tie dies, and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Happy stamping.